Hello, about that thumbnail. Let me explain.
Yeah, everything at the end blowed up. Blowed up good. Blowed up real good. Real good.
Okay, true story. I posted a few pictures of this on X a while ago, and one of the comments was, "Bro, that thing is huge." I responded with an off color joke, but it gave me the idea for this video. But why does it look like it does? Why it's the size that it is? And why am I using these materials? I haven't reinvented the wheel or anything here. These things have been commercially available for a while, and the Chinese are knocking them off dirt cheap nowadays. Apparently, they rust really quickly in seas, and a local guy, he bought some, and he says none of them worked. The American made ones are pretty good quality and they're fairly reliable. They're somewhat pricey, but I guess that's to be expected, when you're paying a North American wage, a living wage. But they also suffer the same problem as that. The pins will rust, and if you live in a very rainy environment, that could be an issue if you're like maybe camping out for a couple of weeks. So I decided to 3D print it. There's a expanded one in there. I was just testing a few of these. I've shot about 20 in a row in this. Sometimes they separate, but there's nothing wrong with this. 3D printing has come a long way. I mean, this thing is pretty solid. If you check out, this is a cutaway of it, and you can see I print them solid so they're strong because I have future design ideas. If you 3D print it, that, that makes it doable in a home garage without a lot of machining equipment. And what I've been doing originally, I thought about making the firing pins out of bolts. Now they're already zinc plated, so they should last a while, but then I still have to machine it and drill holes in it. So then that becomes a point of weakness. You can oil it, but not all of us are good with the equipment maintenance, and I speak for myself. But this does work, but leaves me with the same issue as it's going to rust. So then what I started doing was zinc plating them. Now I have 3 or 4 of these in my grass outside. They've been there for about 6 months. Morning dew and rain and snow and all that, and they still have no signs of corrosion whatsoever. And although they work really well, they're very time consuming to make. And I really hope to grow this little endeavor here where I can make a living wage at it. This particular one here is actually made of, let's take this thing apart. This one here is made from stainless steel. I'll tell you in a minute why there's 2 springs in there. Now this is a prototype. You can see all the holes in there. But this one is made of stainless steel, so I don't have to waste time with the electroplating. But that means, you know, this shape I was getting just by putting it in the drill press, turning the drill press on, and then putting a file to it. Now I'm having to use a lathe on the stainless steel because the file doesn't really cut all that well. But I've shot about 10 or 15 of these so far. And the intro actually was using this particular one. And I didn't have any duds, so I think this might actually be the final design. But whichever one you end up getting, either this one or this one. They will both work, and they both won't rust. The only difference is this one less less time consuming. The stainless steel is a lot more expensive than the cold rolled steel, but time is also worth some money, isn't it? So why are there two springs in there? Well, the commercially available ones are much shorter and they can get away with one spring. It's a heavier spring, which means it requires a stronger pull to activate it. This I decided to go with the longer rod allows me to use these two lighter springs, and the extra mass ensures that the, I get a fire every time it strikes the primer. So having the two light springs and the extra length of travel is going to make this fire reliably and with a lot less force to trigger it, which means it's ideal for like smaller critters, maybe foxes or raccoons or something. If you have chickens or livestock to that you'd like to protect. What does it look like it does? What does it have fins? Well, originally I wanted to put speed holes, but I was worried about water intrusion, so I settled on speed fins. Yeah, okay, no, that's not it. This is what it looked like before. And a friend of mine suggested that it looks a lot like a lady's happy time device. So, yeah, that's why we added the fins. And you'll notice that the bottom part's different. The ports are a lot smaller because they tended to explode. They wouldn't evacuate the gas quick enough. This is the only piece I could find from that initial explosion. I didn't have to make a second one to realize I needed to redesign it. Anyway, originally when I designed these, I designed it with an open bottom because I wanted to use the ram set, and I didn't think that having it enclosed it can contain the pressure. But at the same time, I don't like the open bottom because if you're using it in a place where there's like dry grass or brush, I mean, the last thing you want to do is start a forest fire. God knows we've had plenty of those. As you can see, the ram sets are already fit in there. They're a little loose because they have the extra powder in there. I think what I might need to do is put in a stainless steel sleeve just to take the extra pressure. Plus, there's the little lip on there. I think that might need something strong, a little sturdier than the plastic underneath it to allow it to ignite. These are the colors I'm going to be offering, and I think, well, I'll tell you why. I mean, obviously, this is speaks for itself. The olive drab, if you're in a very green environment, maybe if you're in a fall environment where you have a lot of dead vegetation, this would go well. This might be good like in a household situation, outside in your backyard someplace where it might blend in. This would actually blend in pretty good with a on a wooden fence. Okay, this one might seem an odd color. There's a method to my madness. I think in some situation you might want to be able to see these right away. Like in my buddy Randy's own words, he says, if I'm setting up for bears, and he camps a lot in the Rockies where there are lots of bears. He says it'll be easier for his hungover ass to find them in the morning when he's packing up camp, rather than try and find, trying to remember where he set them up. So yeah, like there are situations where you want to be able to spot this right away. Each one has its purpose. If I find there's really no demand for this one, then we'll get rid of it. But I still think it serves a purpose. So if you've seen the how-to video, this is obviously your bracket. Originally, this was the bracket that I designed. My daughter said, "How do you attach it?" I said, "Well, put a screw." She said, "Dad, that's kind of ghetto. Shouldn't you have like the screw already with it?" I said, "Yeah, you're right." So now I have the screw put in there so you don't have to lose your screws, because some of you might have a few screws loose. What I did with this one was, you know, if you're an outdoorsy guy, you probably already have a screwdriver with you, or at least a multi-tool and a few things, but not everybody is a full-on outdoorsy or prepper kind of person. And this little concave here that goes up against like a 2-inch metal fence post, then you can just throw a zip tie through it and hold it there. That was my original design. I don't know. I may like provide like a premium one and put all the different things in there. There's actually one more. I'll bring it just one sec. This one here is a magnetic one. Now I thought this might be good, like if you're putting up against a metal building or a vehicle or something like that. But then I decided against it for the sole purpose. Well, I have to print it in two parts. It's a little more time, so it's going to cost a little bit more. And these magnets, the ones that are like thick enough and strong enough, are about $3 a piece. So I really thought in order to charge enough to make it worthwhile, it might be too expensive for some people. But I don't know. Let me know. Would you pay a little extra for this? How much would you pay for it? I don't know if any of you have noticed the little symbol here. Let me know if you know what it is. Leave a comment below, as they say. Okay, I think I've rambled on long enough. I worked for many years behind the camera. This is my first time. Well, technically, I'm still behind it, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
Like this video, share, subscribe, or somebody's gonna get hurt.